there, and welcome to Aunt Val Has an Opinion About Everything. Now I know there's a question that's weighing on your mind. Should I buy a galvanized water trough for my horses, or should I get the fancy Rubbermaid? Well, here are my thoughts on that. In my winter pasture, I have a big galvanized trough up on blocks. I like the big one because it doesn't freeze in the middle in the winter, so all I have to do is break the ice in the morning, and my horses have plenty of water all day. And if it stays cold, a lot of times the hose doesn't work, so there's plenty of water for my horses until I can fill it again. So that works for me. And I used to just push that tank down to my summer pasture when I would move the horses over, but I'm getting older and that's harder to do, a lot harder to do. So I have a small tank for the summer pasture. The reason I got a small tank is because in the South, algae blooms frequently. In a smaller tank, you're not wasting as much water when you dump it out. You clean it up, fill it up again. I'm on well water. I don't have to worry so much about the water bill, but still, I don't want to be wasteful. But I decided I wanted 2 water troughs for the summer pasture because, as you know, galvanized rusts, and sometimes it'll get holes along the seam, and sometimes it'll get those teeny tiny little pinholes, and you have to fix those. And that's what JB Weld is for, and boy, do I love my JB Weld. So when I went to the store, they didn't have any galvanized tanks that day in the size I wanted, so I got the Rubbermaid. So now I have a small galvanized and a small Rubbermaid sitting right next to each other for my horses for summer. And I'm going to tell you, horses prefer galvanized. How do I know? Because every time I clean my water troughs, the horses will drink the galvanized tank dry before they drink out of the Rubbermaid. I don't know why they prefer galvanized. No idea. Just know that they do. So here are my thoughts on the 2 now that I've had both side by side. Rubbermaid is porous, so it's a little bit harder to clean to get the algae out and really make it nice and clean so it doesn't bloom again for at least a week. Galvanized rusts. Now I keep them both up on blocks. That way the galvanized doesn't rust out of the bottom so quickly because it's off the ground. But it does rust and gets little pinholes and stuff. You have to clean it out, let it dry, put on the JB Weld, let it dry, then you can fill that tank again. So it's kind of a hassle. The Rubbermaid is just a little harder to clean. So you have to decide which works best for you. Now, the reason I keep them up on blocks is because, first of all, the galvanized bottom doesn't rust out as quickly because it's not touching the ground. But second of all, black widow spiders. They love to be around your water trough. I don't know if it's because it attracts bugs or because it's cooler. Don't know. But I will say this. Galvanized tanks go straight up. There's no lip at the top where you have to put your fingers underneath to dump it over. And the spiders are always under the tank. So you don't have any fear of getting bitten. Rubbermaid, on the other hand, comes up, has a lip. You put your fingers underneath to dump it out. If it's sitting on the ground, there's no place for the spiders to go under the tank. So with Rubbermaid, sometimes you find black widow spiders underneath the lip where you put your fingers. So, I've always used blocks. I often find black widow spiders underneath my water troughs. But you know what? I have never, ever found a black widow spider underneath the lip of my Rubbermaid tank. And I think it's because I put it on blocks. I don't know. Anyway, that's my opinion. You do what fits your lifestyle best. I'm Aunt Val. That's my opinion.